no such thing as a silly question and or a stupid question simply because every question, according to logic, has an answer. The very fact that a question exists means that the question is not stupid and or silly. Every question in the universe has an answer because everything that is done in the universe that is of any value whatsoever starts with a question. And the question may sound silly compared to other questions. The question may sound valueless or quote-unquote stupid, but the very fact that the question exists means that there is an answer to that question somewhere, even if the answer is, I don't know, which is the answer to most questions in the minds of most people throughout the planet. Most people do not know anything close to what they should know because the universe is vast, and we know very little about the universe, and we know very little about ourselves in the universe, and we know very little about ourselves as persons, as individual persons. I look at my hand periodically, and I take my hand and make a fist, and then I open my fingers, you might say, so that it's no longer a fist. And I can do this simply by thinking about it. Now, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I can sit right here or stand somewhere and do this anytime I decide to do it. Open and close my hand with my fingers. They call it making fists. Close your hand, open your hand, close your hand, open your hand, or close your eyes. I can do that. Close your eyes, then open your eyes. Sometimes I might be asked, like going to a doctor, to inhale. So I inhale. Say, okay, inhale, now hold your breath. I can hold my breath. I do this by sending signals from what they say is my brain. But if you ask me how the details of all of that works, have me be able to describe in detail what every vein is doing, every so-called molecule is doing in my body at that very second, at that very split second that I decide to close one eye and keep the other one open. I can do that. But how I do it, I am completely ignorant, even though I'm doing it. I have no idea of how I do this. So now that should start every person to really thinking seriously about how much he or she does not know. Just that alone. Just start with yourself. How much you really don't know. Oh, some doctor might describe it on a chart and whatnot, but the doctor doesn't really know. He can only go so far, or she, and say, well, it's moved by nerves. And you say, okay, well, how does the nerve move? Where does the nerve get its power? I mean, your heart is beating even when you're asleep. Well, what keeps the heart beating? Well, the blood flow. Well, what keeps the blood flowing? Well, the heart keeps the blood flowing. Well, what makes the blood flow through the heart that keeps the blood flowing through the heart? And what makes the heart keep the blood flowing through the heart? And what is the origin of the blood that makes the heart flow? At some point, everybody who is telling the truth will say, I don't know. In order for me to tell you that, I would have to tell you the origin of the universe. And I don't know that. I can guess, I can imagine, I can pray on it, I can read books on it, but I really don't know. Because to know the origin of even one thing, one grain of sand, the actual origin, I mean back before that grain of sand was something called nothing. Do you know the origin of nothing?